Hi garden friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Era and this is Gardening on Purpose. I garden in Zone 8A in the southeastern United States, where I do plant videos, plant hauls, clearance shopping, perennial planting, and everything in between. So for today's video, I want to show you the 3 things that I do to protect my plants when the temperature calls for lower than usual numbers. So for example, this coming week here, today's Monday, this coming week, they are talking about lows are going to be 10, 11, 12, those types of numbers. And we haven't had those numbers in the winter yet. We've had a really, really mild winter. We probably got a frost and freeze. I know we got a frost and freeze on November 1st. And then we had another one. And that was it. I went on vacation, so I wasn't here for a week, and I wasn't really paying attention to the temperature while I was out the country. So I don't know what it was the week I wasn't here, but I didn't see anything on the news about it being extra cold while I was away. But this coming week, it's going to be cold, and I want to show you what I do to protect my plants, especially plants that are Zone 7 and Zone 8, and also plants that are newly planted, no matter what the zone is. So I did some of it already. This is what I actually do. I take my old containers and I place them over the plants. This helps with I've read that it helps with 5 degrees. So if, for example, it hits 15 and I put these containers over the plant, it gives the plant 5 degrees of insulation. So if we get 15, the plant might only really experience 20. So I want to show you, I'm going to take it up so you can see. So these are 2 pancake arborvitaes and a queen mum agapanthus. And all I did really, guys, was I put the container over the plant. Simple. The plant is already protected from with nice clay, and it's protected with mulch and stuff. But an extra step is to literally put it over the plant and put the rock to stabilize it, because if we do get a wind, it will blow away if you don't have a rock on top of it. And all these containers have holes to help the plant breathe, and also to airflow, because of course I don't want the plant to get damaged while I'm trying to protect it. So that's what I did with these 2 pancake arborvitaes. And this, like I mentioned earlier, is a queen mum agapanthus. This is definitely a Zone 8 plant that I need to trim back. I know I need to trim it back, but just for today's video, I'm going to show you. I literally cover it and put the rock. Don't use the rock to block the hole, because the air needs to flow. And that's literally what I do, guys. That's all I do, this particular method. Okay, I have a few more down here that I need to do. This guy here was recently planted. This is a Henry III Aster, and I have a bunch of those. And again, literally take the plant and cover it. Now this one might not be big enough, so I need to get a bigger one, which I do have. I have a ton of these, guys. You know I buy a lot of plants, which means I'm gonna have a lot of containers. So here's a 3-gallon, and literally just cover it. Boom, you're done. Well, actually, you put the rock on top of it, then you're done. And then same thing with this guy here. This is an Obsession Nandina. This one was planted a couple of months ago. So I just cover it, and then I place the rock, which I have a ton of, and that's it. And that will help my plants. You really want to take your time and really protect these plants, because you spend money on them, and it literally took me a second to do it. It does not take anything and every gardener has extra containers. So this one is pretty easy. There's one more that I need to do. Everything else, I have a couple more plants that I need to do this with. And I'll come over here and I'll show you. I was working on this bed, and I'm still working on it. I just threw these in here when I was going away on vacation. These are 2 two hydrangeas that don't belong here because I'm realizing this area stays wet and it doesn't get a lot of winter sun. Even though this is a summer plant, I don't want it to sit in too much of a wet area in the winter. So I'm going to move these. But in the meantime, these are, what are these? I think it's a limetta. Yeah, hydrangea limetta, something like that. And just cover it. Easy peasy. And then use the rock to cover it. So that's one method that I do to protect my plants. The next method, we're going to head up that way, and you might recognize these plants. I just did a video, was it yesterday, or 2 days ago, where I planted these guys. Well, no, I put the video up, and these are especially going to be susceptible because they are new. They are the newest of the new. This Loropetalum, this one is Nightlight Chamaecyparis. That one is, I believe, Leland Cypress. And that one is a Nightlight. This one is an Agave, which I'm really have to keep an eye on that one. And this one is a Indian Hawthorn. Now, these are too big to be covered with containers, obviously. So the method that I'm going to do for this one is packing the leaves up close to the plant, really giving it some really insulation, because what you're really doing, you're trying to protect the root, because even if the top of the plant is damaged, so long as the root stays healthy and alive and protected, the plant will bounce back. So what I do, guys, literally, I take my foot or my hand or my rake and I literally just make sure leaves are all up on the plant, all up on the plant, so that the roots are not exposed too much. Like right here, make sure, look how I did that. Look at all that leaves. All those leaves are gonna help this plant. This one might need a little bit more leaves, and this one was newly transplanted, so I know it's in some serious trauma. So I just use my hand or my foot or whatever it is and get the leaves up to the root, guys. Get the leaves up so that the cold ear can be it can be protected from the cold ear. That's all I do, guys. And as you can see, I have a ton of leaves. There is no shortage of leaves. Now, this Loropetalum here, I've been using the Loropetalum to protect itself because it's so wide that it helps protect its own root, but it won't be enough today. So what I'm gonna do is, again, bring some of those leaves from here, right? Grab some of these leaves and then place them underneath that guy there. Okay, so just so I can show you, I'm just gonna grab the leaves and tuck them underneath here. And any leaf I can find, just tuck it underneath there. Tuck it underneath here, just so I can insulate this plant. And that is step 2, guys. The plants would really, really appreciate it. They have gone through a lot of trauma from coming out of their containers and then having their roots disturbed and then putting in this new home of clay and then having to deal with this cold that's coming. So that is step 2. Now for the, not the arborvitae, for the agave, I'm going to do the same thing, but I have to be careful because I don't want this to stay wet and I don't want this to get any disease because, there are pests and stuff on these leaves and I don't want the plant to get sick. But once you put the leaves here, don't leave them on this high. Don't pile the leaves up and leave them like that. When the temperature gets good again, then you have to come back and move some of these leaves from here because it's not good for the plant. So that's another step I have to remember to tell you. Like, don't just pile the leaves up and then leave them there all winter. You have to move them to give some circulation. So that's what I'll do for this guy here. I'll grab some leaves and I'll bring it closer here, insulate it. And then, this is a an agave. So this does not like the wet. This is completely a drought tolerant plant that doesn't do too bad here in my zone 8A in the southeastern United States. So that's step 2, guys. The last thing I want to show you is regarding actually bringing the plants not inside the house but inside the screened in patio. I have a screened in patio. So what I do for these plants here that I did not get a chance to put in the ground because I don't want to rush it and because it's winter and it's wet, what I do is simple. I make sure they are well watered. So I water them, right? I water them, make sure they're well watered, and then make sure that there's not a lot of water, seeping out or anything. And then I take them inside. And my porch is screened in, so it's not 100% protection from the wind and everything. So even though I do bring them inside, I still will protect them a little bit. So they have a double protection going on here. And you might recognize these plants from the last video. These are all the clearance plants, some of the clearance plants, because I have many. I have many clearance plants all over this yard. I just go in and just water the plants. Just water them, make sure they're good, because you don't want a dry plant to get frozen. That's going to damage the plant even more. So I make sure they're watered, and then I bring them inside. Now I'm going to show you inside. I don't even know if you've gotten seen inside. It's not much to look at, but this is in the inside. So this is the inside right here, and I'm going to place them right here, right where the edge of the carpet, the rug is. That's where I need to get some cardboard to lay it out, and then I will put the plants here, and then I'll get a sheet and cover them. That's all I do. But I'm not going to do it now because, of course, I literally just watered them. So, of course, I don't want to bring them in here and make a mess. So once the water all seeps out, I'll one by one take them inside and then take a sheet and cover them. And again, only temporary. Don't leave the sheet on to damage the plant. But just for when it's 12 and 11 and 10 and 9. Now, if it gets to 9 and 8, then I might actually bring them in the garage. But my garage is so full, it's out of control. Anyway, guys, that's what I do. I either use my old containers, which I have many of, and I know you do too, okay? I know you do. Don't even try. I know you do. And then I cover the plant that I know is more susceptible. I put a rock over it. The next thing I do is I make sure I insulate the plants that are too big to go under a container, and I make sure it's all leafed up. The leaves are really nice, a nice 6 to 8 inches on the root, so that when that cold hits, the plant won't be like, oh my God. And then the third thing I do, like I just mentioned, is I make sure I water the plants. Make sure they are nice and watered, and then when the water dries out, and then take them inside and then cover them if you need to. Anyway, guys, that's what I do. Some plants I'm not even going to worry in the container. These guys here are, this is my bonfire patio peach that has been doing great outside for the last 3 years, so I'm not even worried about that. It's nice and buttered up. It's not going to get damaged or anything. This is my sweet Bing cherry that I got for Valentine's Day. That does quite fine. And these are 3 Japanese maples that I also got for my birthday, and they are quite fine. They don't need to be protected. Everything else is okay. And I think sometimes we overdo it and we think, oh my God, I need to, and then the plants are fine. So I've learned my lesson to not stress over it. Plants that you spend a lot of money on, protect them. Plants that are marginal, protect them. Plants that are newly planted, protect them. But otherwise, plants will survive. This is not the first time it's going to go down to 12 or 13 or 14, and the plants will be just fine. Anyway, guys, that was the video for today. Let me know what you think. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Please remember to hit the notification bell to be alerted on my videos. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate all the new subscribers, all the subscribers in general. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos. It is truly appreciated. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.